welcome to the Solid Signal podcast for the week of June 2nd, 2014. This week I'm talking about Windows 8. Not that Windows 8 is terribly new news, but this is my first week working with my primary computer with Windows 8. I've been using it on my secondary computer for, about a year and a half now. And, if you've been reading the Solid Signal blog, you know that I'm not a huge fan of Windows 8, and I was not looking forward to getting a new computer with Windows 8 pre-installed. That said, I've got a couple of things I'd like to say, and believe it or not, they're not all bad. Just to get you folks up to speed, of course, Windows 8 is the successor to Windows 7, and it's the first Windows operating system to try to abandon the traditional desktop look that we've enjoyed, quote unquote, with Windows since, about 1989. Certainly the Windows desktop idiom was getting a little long in the tooth and needed some help. But unfortunately, what Microsoft tried to do was adapt the tablet idea to any size screen, and it really doesn't work with a 27-inch monitor or multiple monitors. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. They also introduced a start menu, which has gotten, let's just say, mixed reviews. I came out strongly against Windows 8 when it first came out because it took away a lot of the usability that I rely on every day. Since then, Microsoft's come up with Windows 8.1 and what they call Windows 8.1 Update, which restore a lot of that functionality and make Windows 8.1 a lot easier to use. It wasn't just the start icon down in the lower left-hand corner that they put back. They made it easier to turn the machine on and off. That's a no-brainer. And they give you the ability to boot straight to the desktop and avoid that start screen whenever possible. When you do have to use the start screen, they've made it a lot easier to understand what you're looking at, and at the same time made it less jarring by allowing you to use the same screen background for both your desktop and your start screen. These are little changes, but they do make a big, big difference. For the record, I really like the way that Windows 8 starts up super fast, and some of the enhancements to copying files and looking at tasks really make the everyday experience a little better. The overall user interface, honestly, I find it looks a little bit too much like Windows 3.0, but that's okay. It's workable, and that really wasn't my complaint in the first place. Now that I've turned off most of the things that make Windows 8 actually act like Windows 8, the bar on the right that pops out, and the screens at the left that pop out, and all that other stuff that's really touch-enabled, Windows 8.1 is good enough that I can use it without having to worry about it every day. There are a few features that are still kind of coarse, considering this is an operating system that's been out for 18 months. But overall, it's okay. I find myself avoiding the new modern apps whenever possible and staying with the desktop. So really what I'm doing is making this as Windows 7-like as possible and just taking advantage of the fact that Windows 8 starts up faster and works a little bit more reliably. I guess that's good for an old fogey like me. I just don't embrace having a full screen app for a 27-inch monitor. It just seems a bit ridiculous. I'm also completely ignoring Internet Explorer's modern interpretation, and I know that you can split the screen to use more than one modern app at the same time, but whoop-de-doo, with the desktop interpretation of things, you can have 100 windows open if you want, or you can use arrow split to split the screen quite easily if you want to do it that way. It goes without saying that Microsoft's next operating system, probably called Windows 9, will have to address some of the lingering effects of Windows 8 and help people either make that permanent transition away from the desktop or let them embrace the desktop completely. It's funny, even Microsoft's productivity apps like Office don't use the modern interpretation. They're basically desktop apps. Microsoft really seems to be coming around to the idea and the understanding that, you can't have one size fits all. People are going to have a tablet for consuming media, they're going to have a laptop or a desktop for creating it, and it's okay if they look different. One unified machine to run them all, it just doesn't make sense.